Anthony, good to see you.
You too.
How are you feeling?
All good, thank you. All good.
What sort of a camp has it been?
A good one, an intense one. Got some championship sparring partners, championship fighters in general. The energy in the camp's been solid. I'm speaking all the positive stuff, but besides that, it's been a whole heap of hard work as well.
The old saying goes, if you approach the same task in the same way, 9 times out of 10,
get the same result.
you get the same result.
Yeah.
So what have you been doing that's been different?
Up the sparring, I'll say. That's the best way you can prepare for a fight. Is up the sparring partners, man. And they've been giving me hell. You know, people probably see on social media who I'm working with, well-recognised athletes, and that's the best way. That's the closest thing I can get to a fight. So I feel I'm aspiring for a long period of time now, and it just gets you battle-hardened. So I just feel tough, even though I like body aches and pains and all that stuff, but it's for the right reasons. It's from the punches, and that's the stuff that gets you battle ready. Yeah.
So you've upped the sparring. How much do you think those guys have been able to replicate the kind of thing that Andy Ruiz is going to throw at you?
I feel like any sparring partner, big or small, is doing you a favour by throwing punches at you. You know, it's important to get punches thrown at you because it teaches you how to defend and stuff like that under pressure. But in terms of replicating, that's really what they're there for as well, is to replicate the style, and it's been a blessing because these guys know what they're doing. A good fighter can fight in many styles, so they know what's needed to be done, and they're bringing the heat. That's the main thing, because I feel like that's what Andy Ruiz does. When you listen to him talk, he's like, you know, I'm ready to bring the heat, man. You know what I mean? So they're bringing the heat day in, day out. And the main thing is it's just getting me battle hardened. Punches to the head, body, shoulders, forearms. Just gets you conditioned so you can keep on walking through fire.
So, in that sense, then, are we going to see a different Anthony Joshua this time around?
I don't like to say different because I am that I am. I've always been solid. I've always been a fighter. So, I can't really say I'm going to go in there and then you're going to see me fight like Mike Tyson, or you're going to see me fight like Larry Holmes. I can sharpen my tools as much as I can, and you know, pray that it pays off. And as confident as I am, I can't say you're going to see something completely different. But you're definitely going to see, you know, an improved fighter, because I'm not at my peak where I'm just like plateauing. I'm still learning every camp, every training session. And even in training camp, the guys are like, oh, you're sharper than you was last week and stuff like that. So you can see the progression through training camp. So hopefully by the time the fight comes, it'll be the best version of me, better than I was 6 months ago.
Because you know you can expect the best version of Andy Ruiz Jr. this time around as well.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. So I know I'm in for a tough fight.
We always like to obsess about your weight.
Yeah.
And you do look a little bit lighter.
I know.
Is that telling us something about the speed that you've got now?
Nah. I don't know. Yeah, it's quite interesting because the weight thing's been spoken about a lot. But I always say, like, you don't make your weight as a heavyweight and then focus on training. You focus on your training, and if you feel good, whatever weight you are, you work around that. So all I've done is just focus on my boxing aspect, and providing I'm doing my rounds, I'm doing my training and I'm feeling good, then the weight will be what the weight is. But we just have to take the answers from the gym in order for the weight to be what it is. So it's not like I'm like, I've got to hit this target and that means I'm ready. I feel like I've got to train in this certain way. I've got to perform in this certain way in the gym. And then once we've ticked all those boxes, whatever the weight will be is whatever the weight will be. Speaking
of focus, normally in the build-up to a fight, you're selling it, you're out there on social media an awful lot. This time you've kept things a lot quieter. Do we take from that you are a lot more focused on the fight itself?
Take that away. You can definitely take that away. As I said, like, I always understood when I came into the game the importance of adding something to the boxing division. I feel like every fighter has to, because, you know, there's no legacy that we join. We have to create our own. Like, when you get into the sport, no one really knows who you are, so you have to do your apprenticeship through the amateurs, and then the pros, you try and make a name. So I understood that you had to create a show, and I worked at that as well as working at boxing. And then after taking my loss, I know I've got to get back down to my fundamentals. There's a little crack in the foundations. So rather than sitting on the top of the kingdom, I've got to get down on my hands and knees and get filling in the cracks and stuff like that. So rather than flaunting and promoting the show and showing the castle off, I've now got to get down and fix the cracks in the building, and that's what I've been doing, is focusing on that type of stuff rather than promoting.
How has that been for you, living with the fact that there is a 1 now against your name in the loss column?
No stress. No stress at all. This is, I can never say like no one's ever lost, because boxing, there's been some great men that have managed to go through their career without taking an L. But I'm not amongst those men. So I look at those guys and what they've done, and they carried on. So I just feel like history shows you how to deal with certain aspects of life. And I'm just blessed to have a second opportunity, right? So it's not like I'm sitting here lost and we're talking about Anthony, you know, what have you done? Like, you look like you've lost it. You're not the same person. Like, you're not a fighter anymore. What are you? You still know me as the same man. So I'm still here. So the loss hasn't affected me in that sense.
I remember saying to you in the press conference immediately after the first fight in New York, is this where we discover the true Anthony Joshua? Yeah. Do you think you have discovered a bit more about yourself in the period since then because of that?
Oh, yeah. And I always reflect back to, I always say, I listen to these YouTube motivational videos, and a lot of them are to do with struggles, and rather than talking about your success, talk about your failures and stuff. But I always remember I would never listen to that part, because I hadn't taken a loss yet, so I was just, as a professional, so I was always kind of fast forwarding past that. But my ears are now open to these things. So that being said, is that when your ears open to certain bits of information, you then become smarter, don't you? Rather than blocking it out because it doesn't relate to you. The more you listen, the more you learn. So my ears are definitely open to learning more.
And in that sense, you talked about the possibility of adding to your training team to have more people giving you more ideas. Has that changed? Have you had other people in giving you ideas this time around?
Oh yeah, you know, this is, you know what's weird is that it starts as like a thought, then a vision, like you see it out there on the internet and stuff like that. Then it comes to reality. And the good thing is that a lot of people are reaching out, but it's the ones who didn't reach out that are here helping now. Like, I sought after them. You know, this wasn't like they were reaching out to me saying, let me help you. It was me reaching out to them like, look, I've watched you and I've studied you for a long time, and I feel like you can work in this capacity. Can we bring you on board and see where you can help?
So when it came to the first fight, it was a no-win situation for you in many ways, because people thought, you know, who is Andy Ruiz? If Anthony beats him, it's a foregone conclusion anyway.
No.
You come out the other side, you're on the wrong side of it.
I'm fighting the best man in the world now.
How does your mentality change now because of that?
I'm going to whip him. Show him how great I am. Because they think he's that great, so when I beat him, I want everyone to bow to my feet. Tell me how great I am. Because as you said, I couldn't beat Andy Ruiz before and get the credit I deserve. So what that's why you say you see me in the ring. I had no, well, like I was ready to, I wasn't fighting King Kong, was I, in the mindset? So now I'm apparently fighting the quickest hands and the best fighter in the division. Once I beat him, I want everyone to bow to me and tell me how great I am then.
That seems a different kind of approach to what we've had from you previously. All the time that I've known you, you've always been a very humble kind of a guy, but now you're going into it with, it sounds like a different mindset, a different mentality.
I think being humble is not take competition out of being humble. You know, being humble is like me respecting you as a person, and me respecting a lady who's on the bus and I stand up and give her my seat. And do you know what I mean? That's humble. But when you talk about competition, I feel people understand and respect that you have to carry a sense of fire in your belly, and that's all that is. It's not like arrogance or anything, it's just confidence, and I'm just confident that I know what I have to do now. I'm prepared to my best capability to go out and perform, and performance leads to the win. I'm not worried about Wilder.
So you're blocking all that out?
Yeah. And even after, I'm not going to entertain that conversation either.
I'll remember that for future reference. But in general terms, you're happy, you're ready to go, you feel as if you're in exactly the right place that you need to be right now to be able to be ready to win this fight?
No, I'm mashed up right now. My body's in pain. But it's all good. I just know how to fight and I know how to box. So that's a good place to be. When you don't second question, you don't doubt yourself. Do you know what I mean? When you can go into a boxing ring without having to question yourself about, damn, what do I do if this happens, or what do I do if that happens? I feel like I can control myself, and I feel like I've learned, you know, even in the last fight when I put him down, maybe I should have controlled myself a little bit more, etc. But the blessing is that out of such adversity, such great opportunity has come to right my wrong, to become two-time heavyweight champion of the world, to prove to the world, no, not to the world, to prove to myself that everything that I believed in and all the changes I wanted to make are going to pay off. And